Okay, this test was the one that asked you to draw some particle diagrams with some gas scenarios. So it was like if you put a aerosol can in a garage, what's going to happen? The biggest problem that I was seeing with this, if you got a low grade, it's because your explanation probably was not that good because it wanted you to explain your drawing in bullet points. Big mistakes that I saw were people didn't talk about pressure. So they would say things like temperature increased or volume decreased or particle speed changed, but they wouldn't say what effect that had on pressure. And if you're not talking about pressure, then that's not really doing that much for you, because you need to specifically tie those changing variables to an effect on pressure. So make sure you're doing that. Some other issues that I saw were in your drawings, you didn't show any motion of particles, or you didn't talk about any motion at all. Another thing that I saw a lot was that you didn't talk about particle collisions. And guys, remember, if we have a gas sample in a box, in a container, the pressure comes from the particles colliding with the walls of the box. It doesn't come from the particles colliding with each other. If the particles are colliding with each other, that's not going to have any effect on the pressure, because pressure comes from, remember your definition of pressure from your Things to Know sheet back in the day. It said that pressure was a force applied by a gas on a surface or on the walls of a container. People have been coming in for tutoring asking for help on this, and the thing that I tell them is to imagine that you have some people, say you have two people in a room. You're standing on opposite ends of the room, and you're the particles in this scenario, or this analogy. Now let's say that you run full speed towards each other and you collide and you fall down to the floor. You will have experienced like a collision and a force of that collision, but the walls of the room that you're in have not experienced any stress whatsoever. If you wanted to damage the walls of the room that you were in, you need to collide with not each other, but you need to collide with the walls of the container. If you're bouncing off of the walls, now you're going to actually put some pressure on the walls of that container. If you don't collide with the walls at all, then you're not putting any pressure on the walls. Pressure is something that walls experience. It's not something that gases experience. So maybe that helps. Let's see. That was basically it. If you didn't show motion, if you didn't talk about collisions, and if you didn't talk about pressure, well, you probably didn't get too hot of a grade. So that's that.